What's up, Powur Hitters? Today is August the 22nd, 2023. My name is Jarrett McAllister, the virtual solar pro. And if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, share with your fellow solarpreneurs. What's up, JB? How you doing, man?
Good morning, Jarrett. Good afternoon. Good morning, everybody. Boy, this year's flying by. Can you believe it's almost September?
It is almost September, which means it's almost time for Power World.
That's what it is. Power World, San Diego, Coronado Island in just about two and a half weeks. We're gonna see you. Tom, you gonna be there?
Oh yeah, I will be there. I'm actually performing a wedding ceremony the day after Power Conference. So on the beach, gonna be fun.
Wow.
What a beautiful place to get married. No, I'm pretty fired up, man, for Power World. This weekend actually just went out, got my tuxedo for the black tie event on Friday night, which is an absolute can't miss. If you're going there, you're not going to want to miss out on the black tie gala and the awards ceremony. So that should be a lot of fun.
I can't wait for that. There's even a what is it, like talent show? And I'm one of the judges, y'all, for the talent show. So stay tuned for the talent show. I think Ramsey Clark's gonna take it home. That's my guess, but I can't wait.
Yeah, I'd put my money on Ramsey. He's an extremely talented dude. Love that guy. So let's jump into this though, shall we? We got a good one for you this week. Let's start off with some success stories. If you have a success story, you know, maybe your first sale, or maybe you got your 100th sale, you got a referral, new ambassador, new teammate. Why don't you go ahead, either share it in the chat, or you can raise your hand. I'll call on you. We'll go over a couple. Do not be shy. I guess while we're waiting for a few success stories to pop up, I'd like to give a shout out to a friend of mine, an old sales mentor who's joined the platform, Mr. Greg Barker, who actually recently built a couple people onto his team and reached out to me and has been hitting up some of my installs. So going to my install areas, canvassing the area, talking to the neighbors, generating the leads, where we're going to be doing a split on those. So that's awesome. We've already gotten a couple leads out of that. I have an appointment today at 4 o'clock based off of that lead generation. So
nice.
Great job, Greg. Greg, do you have anything you'd like to mention? And first of all, welcome to the platform, brother.
Hey, thanks so much, man. It's great to be here. Yeah, I'm really excited about the opportunity with Power. So looking forward to grow this thing, and worked with Jarrett for a long time. So it's just a privilege and honor for me to be here and team up with Jarrett again. So can't have a better closer, and looking forward to getting you some leads.
Right on, brother. Real quick, how long have we worked together, Greg?
The other day, our age, it's almost 20 years we were talking. Crazy.
Yeah. 20 years, man. So
yeah,
we got some good stuff in store.
I met Jarrett. He was running a van crew with quite a few people in the van, and just to see him grow over the years, become a great leader, a manager, an incredible salesperson, and to see what he's doing now, it's just outstanding. I love it.
Thank you, Greg. Checks in the mail. Appreciate that, brother. Right on. All right. I see we have some hands raised. James, you have a success story you'd like to share with us this week?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I go walking a lot in my neighborhoods. And then one day I had an epiphany. I said, why don't I speak to the local people in this town, who some of them know me or familiar with me? And lo and behold, I went out Sunday afternoon, late in the day. I met a fella who I met at a wedding anniversary who sells furniture in the town. And he is very much interested in solar. He actually spoke to a company a few days before, but when I told him about the cost of goods model we had, sent him some videos and also our warranty, he's very much interested. So I'm actually going over there later on today to speak with him. But so sometime it could be right in our own backyard. We don't see it.
Absolutely, man. And the secret sauce, talk to everybody you know about solar. Bring it up in every conversation. That's what I did when I first got going. I didn't even know how solar worked, but I was excited about the opportunity and just offering somebody a free quote. Who's not down for a free quote, right? So just talk it to every single person. You're going to generate leads that way. Great jobs, James. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
And let me also add, if somebody says I need leads, how do I get solar leads? If we go to your social media profiles and we can't tell you work in solar and you're not talking about solar, then that's low-hanging fruit. You should be announcing that and not be a secret agent on social media.
Love that, Tom. Thank you for that. That's so true. Yeah. You don't expect to get any leads if no one knows that you do solar. Right. And you're going to be upset when you find out when your neighbor, you all of a sudden you see an installation crew coming up, they're loading panels onto their roof. And you're like,
That sucks. That's a bad feeling. That's a bad feeling.
Know. They're like, oh, I didn't know that you sold solar. Yeah, you just share cat videos on Facebook. I had no clue. Right. So, yeah, you let everybody know, like Tom said, do not be a secret agent. So great tip, Tom. Alma, you have a success story you'd like to share with us. Go ahead and come off mute.
Hello.
Oh,
Let's see. Okay, here we go. Can you hear me?
we can hear you. We can't see you anymore, but it's all, yeah. Oh, there you go.
Can you see me now?
Yep.
Okay, hi. Okay, so I had a customer that was a bad story but turned good. So signed back in March. The whole tried last minute. We had issues with the NIM, but finally got it approved. They're gonna go install his house. And I said the day of install, I said we can't do it. Your roof. So it was really bad because how do you tell a customer the day of install that you need a new roof after they checked it 3 times? So it was bad. But then he agreed with the roof because of 30% credit, and they were doing an additional audit, and the cost was going to be more money, and so he was really upset. But he just got his roof installed, and he's so happy now because old roof, had 3 layers, had mold in his house, rotten wood. And so now, even though he was really upset and, he doesn't have his solar quite yet, it's the negatives turned to positives because he saw what his roof was, the condition, and now he's happy, right? So even though you take those calls and a lot of work, it's a positive story because now he has a new roof, 30% credit. He's going to get solar. He's going to start owning his energy. And even though it was a lot more money than he anticipated, he's still a happy customer. So sometimes you have really bad stuff happening, but if you just wait till the end, it could turn around. So again, not install yet, the solar, but his roof, and he's so happy with that.
Awesome. Thank you, Alma, for sharing that. Yeah, nobody wants to be in that situation, right? Get there, day of install, and then, hey, by the way, you need a new roof. Definitely an oversight on our part. But like you said, silver lining, he needed a new roof. It's not like he had mold and toxicities, and installing that solar wasn't going to work anyway. So he's able to wrap that into one solar loan and make that happen. I'm glad you were able to work that through, and it sounds like it's going to end up working out for the client. So thanks, Alma, for sharing that. Appreciate that. All right, we got one more, then we're going to get to the meat and potatoes. Greg Granby, what you got for us, brother? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. It's just sort of a quick, small victory. I used to be like 30 years in the IT business, and I worked with a lot of clients, and I've been posting a lot on Facebook. And one of my old clients happened to notice that I was in the industry, and he hit me back, and we chatted for a minute, and he said, after talking, he said he'll send me his bill as well as a panel shot, and hopefully that's going to turn into a real good lead. But I mentioned that because it's one step towards actually having my first deal done with Powur. So I'm real excited about that opportunity. So I just wanted to say that social media, as most of you already know, really does work. And that's
Nice.
my story.
That is awesome, Greg. And I think that just ties right back to what we were talking about earlier about not being a secret agent. You let people know what you were doing, which led to a lead and now potentially your first customer. So great job there, not being a secret agent, letting people know. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's a great reminder for a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure there's several people on this call. They don't know, for whatever reason, they have a mental block in their head that they don't want to go all in. They don't want to let everybody know. I'm telling you, the moment I went all in, the moment I let everybody know is when my success 10x. So, and that's usually the case for most people. So appreciate you sharing that, Greg, everybody, and all your wonderful success stories in the chat. Jonathan, let's move on, shall we? What is this?
Let's do it. I kind of have a quick success story. I'd like to share this video. This is from the Southern California real estate event. We had like 80 people there. Let's check this out real quick, and then we'll keep going here. Hey everybody, welcome to Diamond Bar, Southern California for an event called Side Hustle. Did you know more than 60% of people today have a side hustle? And half of those people think they'll always have a side hustle. So today we're showing mortgage, realtors, lenders, insurance, financial experts, how they can profit from their solar referrals. So today we're gonna have industry experts. We're gonna have networking. We have an amazing coffee cart, sponsors. We're gonna hear from Cynthia about the business model, why you should look into a side hustle, and then we're gonna have an amazing epic panel. On this panel, we're gonna hear from contractors, lenders, realtors, even a 19-year-old, how he came into the business and they all made 6 figures by just adding and referring solar to their existing book of business. All right. So that was an event that we had Southern California last week on Wednesday that everyone could invite people to learn about the opportunity, and we did a panel, and it was one of the bigger events I've thrown for the first time. Shout out to Cynthia, Marisa, Jacob, Sarah, and everyone that made that event possible there. So moving on, Tom, did you have a share, or shall we?
I got to share.
Let's do it.
It's an old one. It's an old one. So for those of you that don't know, my background and my education is actually in theology. And I worked in nonprofits and churches up until I got into solar in 2006. And I had never been to a home show, never been to a networking event. Sales was kind of foreign to me when I got into all this. And there was a book that I read that really helped me start to get headed in the right direction. And it's probably a book that's familiar to a lot of you. It's The 4-Hour Work Week. So if you have read or heard of The 4-Hour Work Week, then put a 4 in the chat. I'm just curious how many of you have heard of this before. It's from Tim Ferriss. There we go. Larry, Bill, Jared, Tracy, Shelley. Yeah, lots of you. So there's something in the 4-Hour Work Week that I think is useful to think about. And it's the DEAL, DEAL, definition, elimination, automation, and liberation. So for those of you who are newer to Powur, or maybe you're rethinking your Powur business, or you're realizing that you have revenue share coming in most Fridays now that's starting to grow, and you're thinking about having a different focus or a different level to your Powur business. So, define what you really want in your career, in your business. What do you want an ideal day to even look like? How much time do you want to take off each year? How much income do you want? Do you want to focus on selling personal deals for 6 to 9 to 12 to 24 months, and then maybe shift your career, your business, to helping other people do that same thing? Or do you want something else? Define what you want and what it will take to get you there. And keep in mind that fear is the most important emotion that we need to conquer in order to really go to the next level, to do something different. So keep that in mind as you're thinking through what you're defining and what the plan that you're coming up with. And then eliminate. That's the second thing that Tim talks about in the 4-hour work week. So there's a difference between efficiency and effectiveness. You can be very efficient at spending time on things that are not effective. Think about the Pareto principle. So this is elimination part 1 that he talks about. So this is a little book report today. So the 80-20 rule, 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. So track your results on whatever parts of your business that you want a win in, because that's really what KPIs, key performance indicators, or data tracking gives you, the ability to have more wins with more things that you are tracking. So maybe it's lead generation activity that you want to apply the Pareto 80-20 principle to. So focus your efforts on the tasks that contribute to the majority of the results. The things that are giving you the biggest lift in your business, focus the majority of your time on those things. The second part of that is elimination part 2. Parkinson's law states that the work expands to fill the time available for its completion. So if you say it's going to take a week for you to do something, it'll take a week or longer. What if you give yourself a deadline that's sooner, of 2 days or a day or later this afternoon? So set shorter deadlines for yourself and you will get more done in smaller amounts of times. And the last two, the other one is automation. So build a sustainable automated source of income. In leadership summit that we had earlier this year, we talked about creating systems for ourselves as leaders that do some of the work for us. So, what can you set up that once you set it up, it keeps working for you with zero input? Online marketers talk about creating assets that can do this for them. So what are some other ones that take minimal input? Probably low-hanging fruit with Powur is ambassadors, right, Jonathan? Right, Jarrett? That's a huge source of leads, huge source of income. Once you get to the point where you've got too many leads to handle, you can take those ambassador leads and you can feed other people in your team, in your organization, with those referrals. What can you outsource? Can you hire a virtual assistant? Can you get tasks done on Fiverr with 2 R's, fiverr.com, or other tools online? And last is just liberation, and that can come in a lot of different forms. It could mean selling 75% of your projects remotely, where you aren't meeting with the majority of your people in person. For myself, I'm 100% remote, and that shift for me with Powur, has meant the freedom to live wherever I want to, and more recently being able to travel a lot more. So define what you want. Eliminate everything that you can in your schedule, in your business, that's not producing the results you want. Automate as much as makes sense in order to liberate yourself to get closer towards the freedom goals that you have. So, and if you haven't read 4-Hour Work Week, pick it up. It's a really good read. Jonathan, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Tom, for that information. Yeah, 4-Hour Work Week. Tim Ferriss, I really like a lot of the content he puts out. And I think it's always a work in progress. Hearing a lot of that can sound daunting even for me. But I think just always working at those principles and values, it's just common sense, lets us have more freedom, flexibility, and lets me play more pickleball. That's all I want to do, Tom, is just play pickleball all day long.
That's a goal.
That's a goal.
Real quick fun fact. One of the highlights. Well, I got that book in 2011, changed my life, my outlook on life. My goals were reshifted after reading that book. Highly recommend. In 2012, I met Tim Ferriss at a tea house in San Francisco and had my copy signed.
Wow.
So that was one of my prized possessions, is my signed copy from Tim Ferriss. And he signed it with his name and he wrote, "Play often." And I took those words to heart. So
That's cool.
Incredible book. Can't recommend it enough.
Super cool. Put the Amazon link there in the chat for y'all. I got 1 or 2 quick updates and we will get to some training today. So as already mentioned, Powur Convention is coming up September 7th through 9th. Powur World, our in-person once a year event. It's going to be 2 to 3 days of amazing training and speakers and keynote speakers. And then an awards gala, black tie event. It's going to be great. Look forward to seeing you all there. Get your tickets at powurconvention.com if you have not already. A few reoccurring trainings to know about, especially if you're newer. Every Monday, JC Rangal's a 10 a.m. training. Every Monday, if you have post-sales questions, we have an office hour with our amazing project manager teammate here, Ashley, that Chris and I work with. So you can attend that Mondays at 1 o'clock Pacific for post-sale questions. Every Monday at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, reminder, there's a Powur Hour business opportunity. Last night, they announced our Inc. 5,000 list for 4 years running, which is very impressive. And there's some videos and content. Check your emails, share the pictures, share on Facebook. It's a great announcement for Powur. And then there's Lease PPA workshop. Check Powur calendars, 12 p.m. Pacific there. It got moved. Enterprise training, there's Powur on onboarding. If you're new, it did get moved to the second Thursday of every month. Okay. 12 and 5 Pacific, live with Irene, second Thursday of the month. If you're new, Powur onboarding, or make your new teammates attend that. Building with Bobby on Fridays. We got Solar Edge office hours. We got market development meetings and so much more. And then one more thing here. In case you have been out of touch the last 3 weeks or so, we've had some pretty epic trainings. I'll put them in the chat for everyone. Starting with Danny Pesci on how to be a leader and building a team, recruiting. Would you lead yourself? Would you look up to yourself if you were a leader? And lots of other nuggets. I did my story, building with Bobby. My story of, how in 4 years I've created a 7-figure income, and where I came from Solar City and Sunrun, and all the troubles, tribulations, trials, and all the ups and downs to get to this place. So if you're looking for a motivational story there, and just kind of be reminded of where a lot of us had to come from in order to get to this opportunity. I mean, my goodness, it just puts things in perspective when we have issues or challenges. And then the CEO interview with Jonathan Budd, guys, this is fire. Like, if you haven't watched this, open YouTube today, tomorrow, this week, put the speed on 1.5 speed, watch it faster because we talk slow. And I've watched that twice. Like, that was gold. And if you watched any of these here, put it in the chat if you found any value from these videos or what you liked. And then lastly, the Rebellion Roundtable industry event. Especially if you're in California, highly recommend checking that out as well. Friendly reminder, if you're new here, my brother created solarmasterguide.com. It has trainings, step-by-step resources. If you want questions about leads, warm market, scripts, enterprise, health, you name it, battery, anything you can imagine, I highly recommend bookmarking that, save that line by line. So today we have a training for you guys, and this will be a little bit interactive. Okay, so Tom is going to share, Jarrett's going to share, myself will share. Maybe there's a few other tier 3s out there. You want to type it into the chat, like Owen, Cynthia, Chris Perez, Rick Joseph, Bill Conley. I see a lot of impressive names here. Chris Collier. So if you have tools that you use to help you run your business, that's what today's about. It's complementary to Powur and things like that. Could be calendar booking, could be text message services, it could be how to read utility bills, it could be a map service that I'll show you in a bit. So that's the introduction here, and I'm going to kick it over to Tom to kind of kick things off and lead the way. Make sure to unmute yourself.
Thanks, Jonathan. I'm going to share my screen here for everybody. So the first tool that I'm going to talk about, I could talk about tools for hours. So I don't know, maybe I'll limit myself to one tool today. But anyone recognize, I guess it says what kind of utility bill this is. I was going to say, what is the utility here, but it says it. So it's PG&E. So PG&E sucks for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons that they suck is this, when you get a bill, a normal, friendly utility will tell you the electric usage. And a PG&E bill, this is one that I just got from solar content that I posted on Facebook. This last week, I had a focus of posting more solar content on Facebook than I normally do. And I've been on Facebook a long time, since 2007, same time that Tim Ferriss book came out, actually. And, I'm not adding a ton of new people to my friends list right now because I've got close to 5,000. But you would think that after being in the solar industry since 2006 and being on Facebook since 2007, that I'm kind of tapped out on social for getting, leads coming in. But every single time that I have a concerted focus on creating interesting content about, my work, what I do, solar, it never fails. There's always leads that come in, and this bill was a result over the weekend of some of that content. So this one's in Fresno. I got another lead that came in that's in Orange. And the challenge with this bill is with PG&E is, how do you figure out how many kilowatt hours this person is using each of the last 12 months? Because they don't show kilowatt hours on this chart. This is actually dollars, and you can see that it goes up pretty high. It's almost $500 of electric usage for their last billing cycle here. So I'm going to show you a tool that I use to help me figure that out, because you want to make sure that the data that you're putting into your Solo or Vision design or Sonova design for usage is accurate, because if you have garbage data in, you're not going to have a happy customer later on, right? So that's why this is important. You want to size the system appropriately. So I'm on a Mac. If you're on a PC, you can do a similar screen grab. So let me just show the steps that I go through. So I hit Shift Command 4, and it brings up this little tool right here, and I can just grab this chart right here. And I'm going to remember that if I scroll down in this utility bill, if I scroll down, it'll tell me, so for this last billing period of 32 days, that was about $500, they used 1,208 kilowatt hours. So what that means is that I know that this bar graph right here, just scrolling around so that I don't show personal information here. I know that this black line right here is that 1,200, and change, kilowatt hours. So how do you figure out the rest? So here's the tool that I want to show you.
Real quick, Tom, too. You have a Mac, so you just took a screenshot, or some people call it a snippet. And then just to point out PG&E, everybody, you can see the black is electric and the light gray there is actually gas. So this utility has both gas and electric together. Okay, great. Thanks.
Good point. Thanks, Jonathan. So here's a tool that I use that I will put in the chat. If you are watching this on YouTube later or some other place, if you Google web plot digitizer, you can find this, but I will put it in the chat as well. So we got our screenshot. We know what the electric usage is. I'm going to click launch now. And once you've done this a few times, it's second nature. You'll know what to do. But the second step is you click load image. And now we're going to load that screenshot that we took right here. The second option down is 2D bar plot. This is a bar graph. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to click align axis, ignore this, just click proceed. And now we've got our screenshot in web plot digitizer. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to click the bottom right here, which is the bottom of the graph. And we're going to click the top of the graph. And you can see in the upper right-hand corner, you can see that it's zoomed in and you can kind of see that it's where to click on this. So now we've got our calibration here. We're going to click complete. And we need to remember what the electric usage was. Anyone remember what that number was? It is 1208. So 1208. So we're going to enter in 1208 into 0.2. Click OK. So now what we've just done is we've told web plot digitizer that this amount right here is 1,000, and change kilowatt hours. So now we're going to go back and we're going to click, starting in January, we're just going to go January, February, March. I'm going to go faster here. April, May, June, July, August. I'm going to skip this first one because they always show 13 months. There we go. Now we're going to click view data. And now we have 12 months of electric usage history with lots of decimal points. If you clicked on 0 and ignore and format, you can download this to a CSV, upload it to Google Sheets if you want. What I do is I just copy this to the clipboard and put this in my project handoff notes or any of the notes in the portal, just so that I have a record of it. So now we know what the kilowatt hours are for each of those months, which is a lot more accurate than trying to, just look at that bar graph in PG&E and just try and guesstimate, what that usage is. So web plot digitizer is the tool. And if you just follow those steps, you can get, especially, not just PG&E, but like Excel, Duke, a lot of these, electric utilities don't tell you even what the numbers are really on the left-hand side. So it's a great tool that I use.
Very cool, Tom. I haven't used it, but this would be super helpful. Did I miss it? Did you have to also click the bottom of every, like the top of the gas for every one of those two?
Yeah, if you click, I'm trying to make this a little bit shorter.
Got it.
But for most of the utilities that are out there, Duke, Excel, they aren't showing gas usage in here. They're only showing the top of the bar graph as electric usage. So with PG&E, you can get this more accurate by going in and doing the same thing with the gas usage and then just subtracting those numbers if you have a Google Sheet, or just doing that manually. So you can subtract out the gas numbers and that makes it a lot more accurate for PG&E. Most of the utilities across the US don't show gas and electric together though.
Right. Very cool. That's a good website to bookmark, everybody. I'll put it in the chat one more time. Web plot.
I can't tell you how many times this tool has saved my butt, considering how much I sell in PG&E territory. You get one bill, it's not enough. You don't want to have the client send you a whole year's worth or 12 bills if they didn't send you over the green button data. I remember the first time you showed that tool, it was an absolute game changer, Tom. So thanks for sharing.
I'll just add too, I do the same thing, Jared. Use it all the time. We used to be able to call in and get it really easily from PG&E, but I think they didn't like that. So we can't do that anymore. So now we have to fight back. And that's the same reason they put in the gas, if you ask me, is just to make it more confusing for the customer, difficult for us.
And related to the electric bill. So this was actually how I got this electric bill. So utilityapi.com. Not every time, but I will use this with some customers. So I paid $15 to get their electric usage, to get a copy of their bill with utilityapi.com. And this is what it looks like when you send a link to someone. So, I would fill this out. In this case, let me just scroll a little bit. There's a lot of utilities in Utility API, including Pacific Gas and Electric. And so when I can send this link right here. You can copy your link. This is what it'll look like when somebody gets an email from me or clicks on that link. So it's a request for utility data. And when they click, securely share their data. So they're entering in their PG&E username, their PG&E password, or whatever utility it is. And then they're giving consent for that utility to share electric bills and usage history with me. So utilityapi.com, and you can send as many of these out as you want. It doesn't cost anything to send this to homeowners. It's just $15 when you want to actually pull the data from the API. So it's another good tool related to the utility bill.
Is that $15 each time?
Yes, $15 for each data pull, which is why I don't use it all the time, just with certain people and certain utilities.
With the gray hairs that don't know how to log into their pgne.com, maybe.
They do need to know their username and password for the utility, but sometimes it's just like pulling teeth trying to get somebody to send you an electric bill. So in that case, I just send over a link.
That's awesome. Cool, man. Well, thanks for sharing that, Tom. Those are two great tools that I'm sure you guys can, put into your toolbox, help you understand. Because like you said, if you're putting in whack data into Solo, so people have a misconception. They think you upload a bill on the Solo, what comes back is fact. And that is so far from the truth. It could be somewhat close, but it's up to you guys as the professionals to double check your work, right? And you can, really mess a homeowner up by having if they give you skewed data. What I like to personally do is ask them to send over what's called the green button data, where when they log in, they can get their last bill, they can download that, send that over. Can't always get it, but right, if you had an ambassador who sent you over a bill, this is a great tool to be able to get that accurate data. So thank you, Tom, for sharing that. Cool. All right, well, I could share a tool that I use a lot. Selling as much as I do on the platform and working with so many tier ones and living a life and having a wife and 3 kids. None of it would work. Yeah. Why did you leave these clothes on the floor again?
Write my wife a love letter, ChatGPT.
Yeah. Other than that, though, it's my calendar. Literally, if it wasn't for my calendar, my life would be an absolute mess. As a couple of years ago, I learned to utilize my calendar and put everything on the calendar. And so I'm sure most of you guys use a calendar of some sort. I use Google Calendar. It's super simple, easy, it's free. And so I want to show you guys how I schedule appointments. So and for some of this might be super basic, but for some people on here, this could really help you out. So the two tools that I use is a combination of Google Calendar and Zoom, right? So first things first, let's talk about Zoom real quick. If you do not have a professional Zoom account, what are you even doing? It's like $120 for the year or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it went up a couple dollars. In the beginning, I get it, right? You're trying to earn your first commissions, you don't have it all, but invest into your business. There is nothing more embarrassing than coming all the way up to the end of your presentation, and then you get this notification that says, your free, version of Zoom is about to expire, your 40 minutes. This person needs to pay for the professional account. And I'll admit, in the beginning, I had a couple people say, hey, this thing's about to disconnect, just hit the link and hop back on. Don't do that, right? I mean, one solar sale paid for 10 years worth of Zoom accounts. So with that said, get your Zoom professional, make sure you have unlimited time on there. Secondly, when you have Zoom, you can, as you can see, my calendar is pretty full, pretty booked. To book an appointment with, I work 100% virtual. I've never been in someone's home for solar, not once in my entire career, right? 100% virtual. I do all my appointments via Zoom. To send a Zoom appointment, so let's say I wanted to meet with someone on Thursday at 10 a.m. I just click on here. I would put in solar, consultation with Jonathan, right? From there, he's a super early riser, right? He's up at 5:30. He's probably done by cold plunge by 6:30 he's in the gym, 7:30 he's drinking his raw juice. So we're going to do an 8 a.m. appointment. So I'm going to click here, select 8 a.m., right? I have my time. Then I'm going to add the guest. Quick little John. There he is. Oh, he's got a couple of these, right? So I'm going to add my buddy right here. So now he's on here. Anyone else, if I had a tier 1 on here, I'd add them as well. Now you see where it says add video conferencing. Now by default, it's going to be like Google Hangouts, because Google obviously wants to plug their own product. But you can incorporate Zoom in your settings. Once you have a Zoom account, make sure it's a professional account. Click here, Zoom meeting. And this is going to generate the Zoom link. So there it is, right here. Has all the information. When I do it now, I'm going to hit save. Boom, sent. If I messed up, I could quickly undo it. But I don't mess up. Get it right every time. And now Jonathan just received the email, solar consultation, to his email on his calendar with the link. So what else do I do though? Sometimes you're sitting there at an appointment and it's 10 a.m. He hasn't, finished doing his raw juice. He's still cleaning out the blender. He forgot. So if I'm waiting for him on the Zoom call, or if I want to give him a quick reminder, if I click on here, if I highlight the Zoom link, copy it, if I hit the email button, this will email guests. So I can quickly click this, paste in the link. I don't need a copy for myself. I can hit send, and boom, he's going to get a notification right there with the Zoom link. So that's another quick way to remind somebody that, hey, you're on the Zoom call. Or when they go, I can't find the link, you call them and they can't find the link. It's not in their email, even though it is. You say, okay, no worries, I'll send it to you right there. That's a quick, easy way to do that. So,
and if you have a Mac, you can also just text them from your Mac with that link super quick as well.
I wish I could do that so bad on a PC. On Mac everything. I literally have Mac everything except for my PC. Yeah, I'd like to figure out a way to do that. Tom, I'm going to put that task on you, how I can send iMessages through my PC. I'm sure you could figure that out by the end of this meeting. Okay, so that's one thing, right? Easy, pretty simple. I mean, this literally, my whole life is based off of this. Make sure that your spouse has, you share your calendar with your spouse. Cynthia knows what this is all about, right? I'm sure Brett can see your calendar, know what time things are going on, coordinate with the kids, all that. No, absolutely. The other thing is though, is I use Calendly. So a lot of people say, hey, when are you available? I have reps out in the field. They're generating appointments. You create a Calendly account. And so this is very simple, easy to log in. There is a free version. It doesn't cost much to be able to do it. But you can create different calendars that are synced up here, and you set your parameters, your times when you're available. You send your link to whether it's a homeowner or a tier 1 or an ambassador. They can see your schedule. In fact, let me see if I can do that. I go slash. There he is, solar consultation. Bam. So if you wanted to, if I can, and I have this link saved on my phone. So when people say, hey, do you have a calendar? And I go, yeah, absolutely. I take the link, text it to them, pops right up. You can see, you can book a solar appointment with me during these times. On Thursday, I'm open, but I'm also, you know, I spend time with my wife, my kids, family. We go out, we do a lot of stuff up here. Right. So I block off the times that I'm not going to work. So in the evening, you know, I set my parameters, my boundaries. So hopefully this is helpful. You know, write in the chat if you use Calendly or something like this, but you can also set up different events. I have 15-minute consultations or discovery calls on there. I have some people that are interested about the Powur opportunity. I can book them that way. So, and there's several different tools. There's not just Calendly. You have, what's that, Calendar? That's what Jonathan uses. So this time management, this is a super huge tool for me. Literally everything is based upon the calendar, and I hope this helps you guys out.
Awesome.
Tom, John.
You know, I just want to say that a calendar is essential for a professional. Like everything is on the calendar. The sooner you get a Calendly, or you can book me and you navigate your calendar, you block your days off, your family time, your gym time, even my haircuts go on there, phone calls go on there, everything in my life goes on there. The sooner you start that, the better. And one thing I just realized, Garrett, is my Google Calendar does not have Zoom. So I actually have to install the add-on using the support link right there. So you have to install the add-on in order to
yeah, if you go over here,
you do the settings.
You click this, see where it says right here, get add-ons. So if you click this, as you can see, I have it added on. You can search app, but there's other cool productive tools on here. Zoom, click here. You'll click this, it'll have you log in using your credentials, and then it'll integrate Zoom into your calendar. So you can always add that as an option.
Yeah, that's easy. The other thing I like about Calendly and You Can Book Me, everyone, is that you can set a text and an email the day before and 30 minutes before. So if anyone ever books me for a phone call or a presentation or anything, if they don't show up, they've been reminded the day before, 30 minutes before, and they're the ones that pick the time. So I hardly have any no-shows or cancellations whatsoever. So you can dial in the reminders as well.
Absolutely. Oh, and one other thing I'll show you on Calendly. If you are booking an appointment on someone's Calendly, make sure when you enter in the information. So let's say you want to book a 12:30 with me for a solar consultation and the homeowner. When it says enter details, you're going to enter in the homeowner's information, their email, and then select you as the guest email. So you're on there as well. When you put anything you put in these notes, the homeowner is going to see. So, you know, don't put anything that you wouldn't want the homeowner to see on these notes. Just be aware of that. But yeah, make sure you book the homeowner's information, put yourself as the additional guest.
Absolutely. One thing, last thing here on Google Calendar, you know, maybe you all want to play with this later, but when you're on a laptop or desktop, they have this new thing under Create called Appointment Schedule. So I believe Google Calendar actually has its own version of Calendly or You Can Book Me. I haven't played with it. It's only a few weeks new. It may be a free feature. I'm not sure. I haven't played with it, but I just wanted to point that out. Desktop or laptop, Google Calendar, you click Appointment Schedule, and you can share a link, I believe. So just wanted to call
Very cool. Google taking over and swallowing up other small businesses. That's amazing.
Hey,
All right.
guys, can you hear me 1 second regarding?
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share two more tools here pretty quick, and then we'll end it with some Q&A and some office hour here. But these are going to be basic, right? So anytime, first I'm going to show you Google Calendar, and then I'm going to show you Near Maps. So it's an added service that you have to pay for. When it comes to Google Calendar, you should absolutely, every time you work with any house, be pulling up the satellite view and the street view. So if we do street view, I mean, we can see that it's a composition shingle roof here. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. We can see some of the trees, you know, we can see the rest of the street here, a lot of composition shingle roofs. Sometimes you can even come over here and find the electrical panel on the side of the house. Sometimes they'll say, oh, you have a newer electrical panel right there. You have an older one, or is that the garage back there? And so Google Maps, Street View in particular, if you're good, you should be able to tell if it's concrete tile, metal roof, clay tile, just by looking at the Google Street View. And then, of course, it has the date up here, right? May of 2022. So we can hit see more dates. We can go back to March of 2015. That's an older roof. So Mr. Customer, since 2015, let's go to 2017, 2018. These are different seasons, 2021. So you updated your roof sometime between 2015 and 2022. And now we're going to go to satellite view. So I'm going to click here. And you can turn on satellite view here. So they live near a park. And then I like to click this 3D button down here. And you can even hit these arrows and do a little roundabout. Oh, so that must have been the roof that you replaced when there was a windstorm. Is this tree still this size? Do you still get shadows back on your garage back here, right? So there's a lot of really cool things that that you can do just inside of Google Maps. And there is even a way to measure distances as well using Google Maps. It's a really basic feature that you can do. So the other things right there, you can do measure distance, right? So you can do there to there. You guys probably can't see that, is about 30 feet. So like if you're doing trenching or other things, you can actually measure the distance when you click there and you right click. All right, so that's Google Maps. There's one other more advanced tool. I have all my bookmarks in a Powur bookmark. So I'm going to open Near Map. This will be the last thing I touch on today. Near Maps is a little bit pricey, so 3 or 4 of you can get together and split the cost of this. Near Maps is about $1,100 a year. Now, what Near Maps does is it flies airplanes over most major metropolitan areas multiple times per year. So you can see here, this house actually has solar because I'm looking at a picture from May of 2013. Now, let's say I want to help, this customer go solar right here. I can go back in time and I can look at shadows. So in February, the sun is more lower. It's not as much overhead in February. So you can see the shadow from the house is being cast on the north side. I don't see any shadow on the house. It also shows you the time. So this picture was taken September 5th at 11 a.m. And we do have a little morning shadow on this part of the roof. And then we can go back in time. And this goes all the way back to 2014, believe it or not. So we can literally look at 2014. We can see if they added a pool. We can kind of look at some of the shadows. We know what time of day it is. We can pull in panorama mode here and get a little different 3D angle. And just going back to the vertical mode, it's pretty impressive when you show a customer this. So clearly that person got solar and a new roof. February, they had solar on a new roof. September of last year, they did not have the solar on. And likely they got that new roof in the last few years as well. So this is just, you know, a short glimpse of what you can do with this. You can even go into another mode here. And if this is interesting to you for distance, shadow, measuring, you can do, you can even measure like this roof plane here. I'll show you real fast. And then you move it to the corresponding parts. And if you notice, it's actually adjusting live here. There's the 29, 30 feet wide down here, 20 feet here. It's even showing me the rise over the run, 5/12. 5/12 is the roof ratio. And I'm not smart, so 5/12, I Google it, and it tells me it's 22 degrees. So now I know that roof is 22 degrees. I also know it's 241 feet squared. So if we're doing a new shingles, and shingles are 550 times 240, that's wrong, sorry, 240, it's 24 squares times $550. So I know that area is maybe 13 grand because it's 24 squares. And then I know we charge about 550 a square. So anywho, this is called Near Maps. As I mentioned, just updated imagery, measurements, different angles, shadows, shading, going back in time. Very impressive when you're helping customers. And if a few of you go in together, 3 or 4 of you, it's only $300 each for an entire year to have this level of detail when you're talking to customers. And there's additional measurements. You can even put panels on here, I believe, too. It has some additional features. That is one of my favorite tools to use when I'm helping customers. And it's kind of similar to Open Solar. So those of you that have also heard of Open Solar, it's a free design tool as well if you want to play with it. I mean, Powur Vision is getting pretty close to Open Solar, but Open Solar is another tool that some of you guys use to design solar systems. All right. Let me know if there's any questions from you guys on the Near Map or the Google Maps from what I shared there. Let me go ahead and check the chat.
Good stuff. That's helpful.
Yeah, you should be checking Street View, Google Satellite. I like to check Near Maps when I need to. You should be looking around the house, the neighborhood before every virtual presentation. It's essential, in my opinion. Yeah.
And you always want to differentiate yourself for people that are getting multiple quotes. So it would be very, very rare for a solar rep to pull up Near Map in a presentation, right? So that in itself sets you apart from everybody else.
Yeah, I usually joke and say, "Are you in the pool naked there?" I'm just kidding. Yeah, but honestly, it shows the cars. It shows if there's a jacuzzi or not. Like, you can see everything in pretty good detail, and they're pretty surprised and impressed when you show that.
You could put a sign on your roof and just leave it there. And then when the next plane flies over, you could pull up your house first and say, are you ready to go solar yet? And that could be the first image that you show on your presentation.
Like that.
What's up, Anthony? Texas Tier 3 mentor in the house. What's your question, brother? Make sure to unmute yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys? Great information that goes on. Hey, do y'all use Project Sunroof with Google?
Oh,
On top of that, or
man,
no?
I was gonna share that. Yeah, absolutely. I could show that to you guys real quick.
Project Sunroof.
Yeah, so if you go, in Vision, currently it does not show the sun hours. So sometimes when I'm using Vision, I want to show them and explain to them why I'm using the panel or placing the panels where I am. I'll pull that up. So it's google.com/get/sunroof. And then from here, you can enter in an address. So I'll do that.
Do you use this, Anthony?
Yeah, it helped me close the sale the other day because gives them an opportunity to see something that they haven't seen. Sunlight patterns, how much is savings and stuff of that nature as well. So it's pretty cool.
As you can see in my neighborhood, we're covered in the forest. We don't get a ton of sun hours. Some houses do, but certain houses you can go to and show them, like these houses right here. You're always going to see the south facing roofs, but yeah, it takes everything into consideration. The trees, it tracks their sun hours. So this is a very cool tool. Thanks
So
for
here's
sharing
an
this.
here's an example of how I used this a while back, Jared. I don't share this link with people because there's people that run solar companies that run advertisements with this, but I had a list of leads that were just cold, non-responsive leads. And so I had a VA go through and type in their address, grab a screenshot of their roof, and then text it to the homeowner that just said, hey, your roof is great for solar. Let's talk. Just so that it was their house on the text.
Yep, you could take this right here, right? Take your little snipping tool. Boom, screenshot it, paste it into a text, send it.
There you go.
Cool, man.
And if you're Brunasso, your text can be, hey, is that you naked in the pool in the back?
There you go.
Creeping.
You can also put in, probably in normal areas, Jarrett, you could put in electric bill like $450 on this house here, 1,900 usable sun hours, and it's even recommending a system size as well. So again, don't send this link to your customers because they try to solicit solar providers and sell people solar here, but some good tool to share on the Zoom or send snippets to your customers.
Love it. Cool.
Yeah. Any other tools? I mean, if you guys use them, put them in the chat as well.
My last question is, do y'all use a CRM or any form? I know Powur's coming up with one, but are y'all currently using a CRM for follow-up or anything?
We are in the process, my brother and I, of transitioning our entire business to Go High Level. I know that that's a very popular one. Jordan Shaw said bomb in the chat. I know
I currently use ProFlow, which is kind of built off of Go High Level platform, very simple to use, but it has a lot of marketing tools built inside of it. If you check on my YouTube channel, I've done a bunch of stuff on it, so you can check that out as well.
ProFlow, Pipe Drive, Follow Up Boss. Those are a few popular ones.
Just a simple tool. There's Google Boomerang, which is pretty good. You can actually put a tracker on to see if your clients wrote the email. So then you want to follow up, and then you can set a date of when you're going to follow up on your email. So it's kind of like a simpler CRM, but I use that all the time for follow up.
What's the name again?
Boomerang. So it's a Google plugin, Google Boomerang.
Yeah, that's a cool tool as well. Thanks for sharing that.
There's a popular one I used for years without anything else. It's called Google Sheets. Google Sheets, Google Doc, Google Slides. The tool of online suite, guys. I mean, it's so powerful. Common sense, duh. But like, I ran my brother and I say, don't overcomplicate it. Like for those of us out there that can just manage some business in Google Sheets, that's it's epic. as well.
Yeah, and just having a Google account, like what he just said. I mean, a Google account is free, right? And it comes with Google Sheets, Google Drive, Google Calendar, your email, everything is all in there. Whether you hate it or love it about Google, it makes our business and our lives easier. So
Big time.
And it's free. So
Digital business cards is very popular. I highly recommend looking into that. And Richard put in the chat, Rep Card is very popular in our industry, and that's a digital business card. If you check out Rep Card. Yeah, good call out too, Jordan. A lot of us guys have bought a domain URL, zoomwithjordan.com, solarjordanzoom.com, or you can go to godaddy.com. or Chris, my brother, uses like Google URL purchaser. You can buy a domain and do what's called a redirect. Once you buy the domain on GoDaddy or whatever service, you then just put in the redirect. So Zoom with JB redirects to my permanent Zoom link, or maybe you could redirect it to your calendar. It's very impressive when you send, a client, oh, my link is just www.zoomwithcynthia.com. Or if you want to book me, go to cynthiacalendar.com. So don't hesitate, or don't be nervous about buying a URL redirect. And it's cheap. It's literally dollars to do that. Yeah.
I just posted in the chat the guide that I created to do that. So if anybody wants a step-by-step guide.
Tom, what haven't you created?
Awesome.
Can you create
on the seventh day he rested?
Will this be on Powur Hitters site, Facebook?
This recording will be on Jarrett's YouTube and my YouTube.
Yeah, here, I'll drop the link in the channel or in the chat right now.
No, I mean what Tom posted in the chat about.
You better click on it, save it while it's there.
Once this ends, it's gone forever.
Okay, done.
All right.
And if anybody wants all the links that have been posted in the chat, you can click at the bottom of your chat screen next to the little emoji. There's 3 dots, and you can click Save Chat, and it'll save a text file of everything that's said in the chat during the Zoom.
Wow. Fancy. All right, I'm going to say let's stop this recording for now. We can hang out for 10 more minutes, answer a few random questions, any topics welcome. But big thank you to Tom, Jarrett for sharing, everyone for attending. I hope you found some of this helpful, and check out the recording. Next Tuesday, the 29th, we have one of the fastest growing teams, husband and wife couple, Rob and Raisa. If you haven't heard their names, they're going to be training us how they built the business with explosive growth and how they manage a husband and wife relationship working together. So that'll be exciting. That is next week. And then the week following, Labor Day and Power World, guys. So a lot of exciting stuff out there. And I look forward to just hitting on lead gen. Now's the time. There's thousands of trainings out there. We all know what to do. We need more at bats. We need more bills. Nothing else matters. It's the 2 things that we do here: collect bills, tell people we make money. So look forward to lead gen, moving into the end of the year here. All right. Thanks, everybody. We're going to hang out for a bit. Have a great week.